Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Dress too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go out, motherfucker, get my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Dress too sharp with the prize. White girls, better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
This is an odd thing to say as someone who has lived in South Florida most of his life, almost all of his life. I don't feel 100% confident getting on and off of boats ever, physically getting on and off of boats. And I just wanted to ask the group here and put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you feel 100% confident getting on and off of boats? We'll get to some video in a moment that will explain why it is your grandma should not feel comfortable about those things all the time, and you should be very careful if your grandfather or grandmother is getting on or off a boat. But before I do that, I wanted to ask you, because we spend so much time around here dissecting how it is that referees have blown this call and that call. And hockey is a full-fledged insanity. It's wonderful. A division leader again last night came back from 3 goals down in the third period, and the overtime goal went off someone's face. But I ask you, as I play this video right here, this referee admission, do you guys believe that we can just, going forward, have this referee's admission out in public in front of people on call has been blown in a game? Can it just be this?
Do you guys feel like get out of the way a little bit?
Which side?
Either, just like if we
right.
curl up, you know,
Okay.
like there's twice.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to stay out of my way.
Yeah,
You guys are fast and I'm slow.
Yeah.
So the referee just admitting, I'm trying my best out here, but you guys are fast and I'm slow. Does that explain everything?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like in general.
Can we stop arguing about it after every time a call is missed? Because unless you're going to put the fast guys out there to skate around or run around out there and be as fast as the athletes, I'm guessing all of these sports are harder than ever to referee correctly, especially since all the players are looking in all the crevices for all the cheating advantages.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the ridiculous part is, man, like, especially in hockey, just to see it, you could be just as fast and be neck and neck with them. Are you seeing what's happening? And so typically the people who see things happening are the people who have seen zillions and zillions of possessions. And so at some point it becomes kind of like you know what to look for. Well, you know what kind of people have seen zillions and zillions of possessions? People who are older and who can't skate that fast. And so it's kind of like, what do you want? Do you want me to be able to discern very well, or do you want me to be really athletic?
You can't have both.
Can't
you can't
have both.
I think, and I don't know if people are doing any of the math on this, but I do think that it's a perfectly reasonable explanation for, and just reasonable, for why it is calls get missed. I'm doing my best. You're fast. I'm not as fast.
The other part about that is a lot of it is game management and game flow. I mean, they purposely let things go sometimes, and then they call the random penalty like a hook or something like that.
They could also pull a Jake Tapper and just be like, look, I was up late last night. I had a long night. You know, not every day's easy for people.
I also like the idea that, whoa,
Wow.
bless you.
She is a tremendous sneezer. She's
That
our
is an
finest
incredible
She's a violent
sneezer.
sneezer.
Do not.
Holy shit.
Do not. I just like that someone just said it, called it out. The ref is someone whose job is to call things. He called it like it was. He was like, you guys are fast. I'm slow. I feel like more people should just admit that. Be like, look, I'm doing my best here. This is technically my job, but not as good at some things as you are.
Don't tell that to Rudy Gobert.
Oh,
No,
yeah, you're right.
there must be some sort of conspiracy going on.
I believe you're allowed to do a French accent.
Of course.
Jess, was the first sound that you made on the show the giant sneeze?
Yeah.
Well, that was the first announcement that the people listening on audio had that you were present, was just the echoing sneeze from the corner of the room.
I'm a violent sneezer.
I believe that's accurate.
Wow, that of course is the fake Dusty Rhodes talking about how he had thrown out his back one time while sneezing.
I'm a violent sneezer.
That is in the Wayback File.
I'm a violent sneezer.
Whoa.
That's the former bald
Thomas
soccer
Smith?
analyst for ESPN. Where? Yeah, he hasn't been on the air in a while. Now someone's going to tell me something I don't want to hear. Oh, so this is when I knew for the first time that our show was popular with young people. When at a nightclub somewhere, it broke out, an entire dance floor bobbing up and down, singing the song "I'm a Violent Sneezer."
I'm a violent sneezer.
That is-
I'm a violent sneezer. I'm a violent sneezer. I'm a violent sneezer.
I believe, Jessica, that is because Goose Gossage once threw out his back while sneezing. You sneeze loud and violently enough to throw out your back in older age.
Lehman did that a few weeks ago. And then for the subsequent weeks, every time he sneezed, he'd have to get down on one knee.
Like Tebow?
Like Tebow.
That is him not feeling his most attractive when he's at.
Wait. I'm picturing this like he like down on one like
like Atlas,
Exactly.
like the thinker, but it's not. It's instead of thinking he's just unbelievably
sneezer.
weak and facing his own old age, like because he's a young man. That's too young for him to be for that to be happening that soon in his life. That's an old person ailment, throwing out your back while sneezing.
We're getting older, Dan. I had the hiccups last night so violently that I thought I was going to crack a rib. So
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Have you ever had the hiccups so violently that you thought you were going to crack a rib? And also put on the poll, is throwing out your back while sneezing the exclusive domain of old people? Let's look at this video. I mean, have you seen the video of this older woman trying to get on a boat? And can you guys answer my question? Chris Cody, you get on and off of boats quite frequently. Do you do so 100% confidently for you and the people around you? Because sometimes that space could be a little bigger between the boat and the dock than I'm comfortable with.
I consider myself to have good balance, so I am good at getting on boats. I love when someone's there to help me. I love a good helping hand, someone reaching across. Like, I'm not above that. If someone reaches their hand out, I'm going to take it.
Put it on the poll. Do you need?
This poor lady.
Do you need a helping hand when getting on a boat?
She had a helping hand here.
Yes, Grandma.
That guy doing nothing.
No, the helping hand failed. I mean, that
Also,
guy. Come
lady.
on. Oh my God.
Lady, hold on. What is she doing?
I mean, that is.
There's no.
I
Where's
think
she
she
trying to
thought
step?
there was a step.
She did not see there was a gap. That's not the.
It really is a terrible step
That's-
by her. I want to blame the helping hand here, but it's hard.
You got to extend a little bit. You can't just she hopped 2 feet
She
like a
went-
jump
she-
shot.
That is how you would dive in if you were trying to dive in feet first in an
Yeah.
Olympic competition where you were trying not to make a splash in the water. She did not make an attempt at getting on that boat. She just went straight into the water. And Luke,
you know how I know it's real? Because the camera person doesn't stay with it.
Splash.
You want to know what the trick is to stage videos versus non-stage? Stage videos, the camera guy's ready and watching and waiting, and even after the fact, it's like still watching. Real videos, like, rah! You see that? The camera go everywhere.
See, it's to help. The camera person is like, I'll help. I'm here.
Yep.
Someone pointed this out to me yesterday. Do you think those two guys caught her before she fell all the way in? Because it looks like
That's
they've
what I
got
wanna know.
a
Nope.
little bit of a handle right there.
There's no way, dude. There's no. If they did, her arms are ripped out of her sockets. There's no way Grandma's got that kind of.
Just 2 arms?
No, yeah. Grandma don't have
Right
labor.
there. Maybe they were able to catch her before she totally submerged. That little tiny little slit of water in between the boat and the step. What happens if you're down
Jessica.
there? You're gone.
It doesn't have labrums like that. That's not the labrums of someone who can get caught and
feel
they pull back
bad.
up. That's done.
it's horrifying.
How do you get someone out of
her.
that little tiny thing of water?
She's gonna get squished.
Plus,
Okay.
her skin is probably real leathery. It's
Wait a minute. I don't think. Why is her skin probably real leathery?
She's grandma.
Grandma's skin isn't always leathery. Put it on the poll, please, Juju at Le Batard Show. Is grandma's skin always leathery? Also, I'm with Charlotte on this. This is truly horrifying, and it's horrifying for a number of people. I know it's worse for grandma depending on how her swimming is, how dangerous it is that the water is, the boat going back and forth, how many barnacles we're talking about here, and what that water is all around there.
As a resident boat expert, I would just like to say there are a lot of barnacles on the bottoms, a lot of barnacles on the bottoms of docks. People don't think about this. As someone, one thing, I think the thing that I'm probably best at in this world is getting on and off of boats. Wow. Like, we should do a test. Someone get me a boat, and I will show you that I'm very good, even in my old age when I crack ribs with hiccups.
You a boat.
Can you get me a boat?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Izzy's boat. She's our nautical expert. I don't know if you know this, Dan. Do you know this about Charlotte?
I did not.
She's like, I'm not making a joke here. She teaches sailing. Or she taught sailing?
I did, yeah.
Taught in the past.
Yeah. And I crewed on boats, and I gave tours, actually, on boats, and sort of made up some facts every once in a while. As we were on the sunset cruise and I was passing out cheese, I was like, you see that island? And they'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, trees have never been cut down on it. And I don't know if that's true or not.
This is a resource. Use her.
If I were typecasting for a movie, I would have her as perhaps a marine biologist in Jurassic Park.
God damn it, Dan.
Perhaps I'd put her there. I want, Sullivan, can you please find for me, and I'm afraid to ask this question.
Grandma?
Well, not necessarily grandma, anyone involved with this situation, because there's a series of horror. If you're watching grandma, that's horrific. If you're in charge of making sure that doesn't happen to grandma because you're one of the holders of hands on the way to boats, that's horrific. I believe that Lucy would argue on behalf of this is the reason that we need to, if we must, allow China to keep TikTok so that we can just keep getting these videos.
First, I just want to say they probably would not have posted the video if Grandma didn't make it out okay.
Well,
you don't know that for sure.
That's my assumption.
You assume that, but go ahead and just do a quick search of the internet of how many people have died in the last year trying to get a photo for the gram.
Just sweet, innocent Lucy.
As someone who almost died trying to make a TikTok video once, I didn't die and I posted it. And if I would have died, I would have said, "Hey, we would have posted it. Let's not do the Dan Campbell coffee challenge."
Did you almost die?
Dan Campbell coffee challenge, girl.
Oh wow,
bad news. Do not do it.
We have now covered this story 3 or 4 times with Lucy.
Just as traumatic as the first one.
I'm being told we have photo evidence that the person on the left of the lady did not catch her. There's no proof that the guy on the right didn't hold on to her arm, but the guy on the left for sure did.
Andrew
not.
Schultz is empty-handed.
Okay, bad job there. God, oh man, I can't even imagine how horrifying that is for grandma specifically, and I hope she can swim, and I hope someone can jump in after her, because you don't want to jump in that space between a boat and a dock.
Oh, the handholders definitely jump in. If they let her go, you just have to.
No way. You got a ring. You got one of those boat rings. You lower it down, you hook her in, because someone else getting in is often not the answer. Common misconception. As evidenced in Anyone But You, when Glenn Powell jumps in after Sydney Sweeney and can't do anything to help her. Thank you.
Nautical expert Charlotte Wilder.
I can get you a boat.
You
I know a
mentioned
boat
that.
right there.
Oh, right there.
That. So you think we can do this today to just show off how well Charlotte gets on and off of a boat?
100%.
None of you answered my question. Are all of you less like me? You're all more confident than I am just jumping on and off a boat?
I'm good getting on a boat.
I can barely get into my car without hitting my head on the thing, so I don't really feel confident in this.
I don't have as much boat experience as apparently all of you do. Everyone's like, yeah, all the time. I've been on I don't know how many boats I've been on in my life. But I will say this. Every time I board a plane, I'm always worried.
I hate that step.
My phone falling in that crack in between the jetway and the actual plane.
I hate the jetway. I think I told Jess this when we were boarding
Chris
a plane.
put a new fear into my head on the way to Vegas.
When you're in that last 3 or 4 feet before you step onto the plane, I always feel like we're gonna go down.
Oh no!
No. It's just
like
because
the
it's
Tower
always
of Terror.
moving a little bit. There's always a little movement.
Yeah,
There's
that's how you
a slight
know.
gap. The gap's obviously not that big, but I just hate that part.
The jetway's how you know the journey's about to begin, Chris. That
I'll hang
energizes
back.
me.
I'll hang back by that door with the stairway that walks down. I'll hang back by that door until I can get all the way up.
Nah.
I don't want to take every step.
How was your day? Okay, fell off the jetway again.
Don't worry, Boeing doesn't make those.
Will you guys, I want to talk about the whistleblower at Boeing in a second, but will you guys walk, all of you walk on a sewer grate in New York without question?
Didn't love that either.
Yeah, but like it's not the best.
No,
my
it's the
daughter's
best.
like jumping on them. I'm like,
Yeah.
Grace, get it.
And it has that subway fume waft up. Oh,
The steam.
oh
The
New
warm
York, how I miss you so.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Will you walk on New York sewer grates without any problems whatsoever? When you talk about the thin space, I'm remembering something from college that was a horrifying inconvenience here. It is not a physical problem.
AM radio? See, because he's old, and I was trying to go for something.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, thanks.
Yeah. Because you're old. No, come on. Come on, that was a good one.
I had a single key on me to my home, the only key I had that I dropped, and I saw it in slow motion bounce through the slit between the elevator on the floor, on the floor of the elevator, and I just saw it fall right through the crack. Like it had to fall perfectly in order to get through there, and then it took hours for me to get both the key and someone to come help me get into the elevator.
Was it a
shaft.
skeleton key?
It was the only key I had. It was not a skeleton key. No,
Because you're old.
Did you get it? No.
it was an ornate. It's something that would open up a castle. It was a big gold key.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I assume. I honestly assumed.
I
you
don't
had,
know.
I assumed you had some sort of face recognition way to open your door or something.
In
some
college?
high-tech- No, I'm just saying. You know, Dan.
Now, yeah.
Use his eye.
Joe Johnson
once-
had one of those for his sneaker closet in Atlanta.
I once locked myself out of my apartment 3 times in 1 week.
That's almost not surprising at all.
Do you remember that? It was actually no. It was twice in one day when I moved in, and then twice that same week. And the locksmith, the last time he showed up, he just looks at me and he goes, "Charlotte," and I was like, "That's reserved for like my dad. The locksmith should know me well enough to say my name in that tone of voice."
You kept having to pay $100 for the locksmith.
You're like, man. I hope it's
again."
I hope it's another locksmith this time.
Yeah.
I
I
hope
put
it's
that
not the
guy's
same one.
yeah. I put that guy's kids through college.
Can you guys get for me, please, the video? I want to ask you, I have said for a while now, and I root for this on nobody, right? But I just remember when I was on South Beach, I remember one time the crowd of people trying to get space at a pool party, and Floyd Mayweather walks in with his people. His people have backpacks filled with cash, and one of them gave over $10,000 so that Floyd Mayweather could have exactly the pool space that he wanted, because Floyd Mayweather can buy his way into just about every circumstance. And since seeing that, I'm like, there aren't many people who can make that much money all their life, that if that's the way that they're spending it at every turn, they'll never run out of money. I don't wish this for Floyd Mayweather, but here's Floyd Mayweather. He's been doing this for 25 years. He's one of the most giant earners in the history of athleticism, and he reportedly spent $7 million at the Gucci store this week. And I ask you, is this something, that a lot of people are still doing? I know, is Floyd 50 yet? Is this?
Yes,
Because this is something that I imagine I can see in the 20s and the 30s, but at some point you outgrow this, do you not? The need to show everybody that you're spending $7 million in the Gucci store.
See, your mind went to how much before he runs out of money or whatever. My mind goes to how incredibly lonely is this guy? Like, he's got all this money. He says, I want to go to a pool, but I want to go to a pool where people are at. I don't want to go to my own private pool because I'm rich. I got 7 pools, 18 pools, however many pools. I want a pool where other people are there because I'm lonely and I don't have friends. Right? Like, not real friends. Not friends that are just here because they love me, Floyd, not Floyd Mayweather Jr., not Money Mayweather.
I don't make all of those leaps.
No, I make all the leaps.
But I do know LeBron. This is said of LeBron that he doesn't like to be alone. There are a lot of people who just physically don't like to be alone very often.
But I think the difference is LeBron seems to have genuine friends that he has around, and they have their own little friend trips and friend excursions.
You feel like you can make that assessment with accuracy on Floyd Mayweather without knowing whether his friends are real friends or not? It seems like quite the leap to make out of the Gucci store.
That's crazy amount. Not the Gucci store. The part about the pool. That's like, to me, screams loneliness. loneliness. The Gucci store is just kind of gravy on the
I have a hot take. I feel like it's actually probably easier to spend $7 million at a Gucci store than one might think.
Oh, I think it's probably very easy.
I think I could do it if someone wants to give me a check. Oh, I was just talking. Oh yeah, no.
I could do it though.
Yeah, I just think, you know.
We should do the spend $7 million at the Gucci store challenge.
Yeah.
Dan.
Oh, we could get that cracking on TikTok.
Who would sponsor that? Gucci?
Dan.
Yeah.
Where's he gonna keep those large bags? Because whenever I shop at an expensive store, I don't want to throw away the bags. And those bags are ridiculously large.
There's a little crevice in my apartment between, you know, like a cabinet and
Like the
another
boat
cabinet.
crevice?
Yeah, the boat crevice where I just put them.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Does Floyd Mayweather have a storage facility for just his giant Gucci bags? Let's play for the audience the most famous spending spree in celebrity that I've ever seen. I believe this was on 2020. Is this Martin Bashir doing the interview? It's Michael Jackson in Las Vegas, just wandering through those stores, incidentally. I have never and will never buy anything at any of the stores that are in Vegas that are there only if you've won at gambling and they're trying to lure you in to buy some sort of golden orb. How much money does Michael Jackson spend in these couple of minutes just wandering through a Vegas gift shop?
About this one,
About midnight.
this one, about this table.
For the people listening, it looks like the most obnoxious store
this
you've ever
chess
been
set. Isn't it beautiful, this set?
Your chess set in your library is...
No, this one's bigger.
This
one's bigger.
Wow. Oh, it's sold, look.
About this one, right?
Is this yours?
Yeah, that's the sold sign mean it's for me.
Okay, how much is that one?
Did we ever get this one, these ones?
It's only 89,000.
No.
Can you put that on the list?
Of course.
Get your pen just so you can mark and not forget.
I'm getting the list now.
Okay. Did we get those?
I don't believe
I like those. Why don't we order those?
Right.
Yeah, I like those.
Have you got enough space for all of this,
Yeah,
Michael?
I do.
You've got space?
Yeah. And we
in
bought
the house in
these.
Neverland, or?
No, this would be for another house.
Oh, for another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We bought these, right? And these.
Yes.
And
You like your urns, don't you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and
these we
fade
bought.
that down. The salesperson there getting a commission on it is rubbing his hands together the way an
Literally.
evil villain would in a cartoon.
really is.
He's
time.
rubbing his hands together the entire time because he can't believe that Michael Jackson
I'll
is
take that
spending
one and
$6
that one.
million in his store. That guy, speaking of lonely, has been alone for the last 9 hours because everyone sees his gold orbs and says, I'm not spending $100,000 on that. And then the client of his life walks in and spends $6 million in less than 90 seconds.
If I walk into that store, I do about a 20-second lap, and I'm like, all right, I'm leaving here.
I like the idea, first of all, that this guy was like probably 2 weeks away from the second mortgage going under. We're going to lose the house, baby. I'm sorry. And then Michael Jackson walks in. He's like, oh, my God, it's actually happening, right? Number two, Michael Jackson, famously not a lonely person, right? So there you go.
Guys, just go ahead and run that as B-roll without the sound just behind us so that people can see again how often this salesperson is rubbing his hands together because he knows good and well that he is getting a monster commission off of that.
Like a Scooby-Doo villain. Like he's not stopping the whole time. He's just like, yes.
Well, what is the commission on something like that? If it's 5%, all of a sudden you're looking at what, $300,000 that person is making?
Easily. Save the house, bro. He saved the house, man.
You know what's fascinating to me about this clip is it's Martin Bashir, who, speaking of the royal family, was the one who did that interview of Diana by gaining her trust, and then her family said manipulating her into saying all of these things on the, was it Panorama?
I don't have the specifics on that. I do believe that interview has haunted Bashir, right? Because he is thought of as actually having wronged the royal family after gaining Diana's trust, correct?
Yeah, and look at Kate. We see what happens when someone thinks they've... Well, we don't know that they've wronged her. Never
you
mind.
get
Ignore
cloned.
me.
Okay,
Ignore
go
me.
sit in the penalty box, Charlotte.
Me?
You took
No,
it,
please.
You took it too
man.
far.
Sorry.
You got to go sit in the penalty box. You
Okay.
can't peter out like that. You got to either...
I apologize.
No, no, not good enough. You can go sit. You know what? That's how we have to avert penalties in hockey now. Just somebody high
Say, I'm
sticking.
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry for making you
It
bleed.
was yes. I'm sorry. I slashed you across the face, and left 27 stitches. Get out! Get out! Don't wander around here.
The amount of money that Michael Jackson has spent in his life was crazy. He spent $500 million on his amusement park. He spent $75,000 for a perfume that was licensed as the ultimate symbol of indulgence. He bought the Gone with the Wind Oscar that belonged to David Selznick for $1.5 million. He's got a lot of money, huh?
Yeah, well, he did. He had a lot of money. He spent a lot of money. Amin and I continued to talk during the break. Amin is insistent that you can make certain extrapolations from a short video. I don't know why you would be insistent that you know that Floyd is lonely.
Well, I mean, I would say this. First of all, the extrapolation is not just from the video. It's from a preponderance of evidence from this guy, the way he lives his life, that it does not strike me as someone who has a lot of close personal friends that they enjoy their company with.
The way he lives his life publicly.
Publicly, yeah. It just, the idea that, you know, in order to say, I want to go to what I would call a public pool, not like the public pool, the city pool, but like the pool at some fancy resort.
That would be amazing if Floyd Mayweather was going to the city public pool and getting $10,000 out for to have a seat at the public pool.
Then I'd call it quirky. But the idea of going somewhere cool, right, and then having the financial wherewithal to like, I can pay to create my own VIP section, right? To have those kind of finances would indicate that you probably have enough money to have your own pool somewhere, right? You don't have to come to Hyde or whatever to come swim at the pool. You got your own pool. So the only reason you would do that is because you want to be around people. And the only reason you want to be around people is because the people you're around right now, you don't see them as friends or companions. They're just employees or bootleggers.
Couldn't I flip that around and say what Floyd is doing is showing everyone publicly again and again that he wins, and if you're someone who takes that $7 million spent in a week in a Gucci store and makes all sorts of extrapolations about the loneliness in his life, you are a hater. That he is actually trying to lure all of those people out. One of the reasons he does it is to have everyone react to whatever it is the reaction is when you see someone being that showy, that ostentatious about having money. Especially in these times, I mean, where you are throwing it. I'm of the belief that basically the viral strain running through division in America now that creates angry communities is a rampant, angry loneliness.
Yes.
That creates literal hate. That if I can find a community of people that are as angry and lonely as me, that can't have interaction with others, I will create a social media community that is a fictional thing that is my connection to the world, and it will be filled with angry, lonely hate. And that is how I will feel slightly less miserable, by joining others who are miserable and trying to make others equally miserable.
One, I totally agree with that. Two, I'm not hating on Floyd. It's the opposite. I actually feel bad for him. I feel bad for the idea that you could have that much money and still feel like, man, I don't have anybody. I have to literally try to buy the affection of people, either with the literal payment of money so that I can be somewhere where people are, or with the exhibition of it to the world. I'm trying to buy the affection of people on social media. Like, wow, look how cool he is. He paid $10K just to reserve his own VIP section of a pool that didn't even have a VIP section. Wow, he spent $7 million at Gucci, whatever. It's like, it's not for him. He's not posting that online for him. He's posting it online for other people to attract them, right? Or to, like you said, pull them out and mean, oh, to hell with that guy. I'm just trying to pay my mortgage.
I think he is doing it for him. In the absence of boxing, he cannot traffic in the thing that has produced the greatest profit in the entirety of his life, which is how do I get people to hate me and then pay for the right to get me to watch me play defense in boxing and never get knocked out.
I think there's two sides to that coin. One side of the coin that we leap to always is like, oh, hate me now, yeah. But there's another part of that, Dan, that's like, man, like I do this also because I want people to like me and respect that I'm great at this, or I did this at the highest level. It's not just for the haters. It's also for like, hey, these are my fans.
But this is a way to me for Floyd Mayweather in retirement to just show his resume to you without saying anything. Look at what I did. Look at how good I was at this. I can't do it anymore, but look how good I was at it. That several years after my retirement, I could spend $7 million in a week at Gucci.
And do you know who needs that fulfillment? Someone who doesn't have people around them providing that to them.
It also could not be that deep.
That's
And
true.
he's
No,
just
I like
spending
being
a lot
deep.
of money.
I like being deep, bro.
It can also be not loneliness. There can be an insecurity there, or it can just be he likes buying nice things. That a lot of us, if we had $7 million disposable, we'd spend it.
If I
at
could
Gucci.
afford spending $7 million on like cool stuff.
But Charlotte, it's not about the spending; it's about the spectacle of spending. Because if he spent
I know,
$7 million at
I know.
Gucci and no one ever
I-
knew,
yeah.
Lucy, has your head hit the microphone from boredom? Is that what I just saw happen back there?
This is just a weird conversation we're having. Just a little odd.
I'm sorry getting so deep on a Thursday morning,
No,
folks.
I will-
Let's talk about
9:36
Grandma on the water
a.m.
again.
No, we will talk about TikTok. Let's play the
Deep
video
water.
of Nancy Pelosi talking about TikTok so that we can engage Lucy.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe. A winner. A winner.
She wrote that in her notes app last night and was like, this is going to be really good. This is going to be great. TikTok might be on its final leg. So the House of Representatives voted to ban TikTok. It's going to go to the Senate. Biden said if it passes, he would sign the bill into law.
Final legs in America.
Yes, which means that TikTok has 5 months to sell to an American-based company or someone the U.S. government would approve so that it can stay, active in America. If that doesn't happen in 5 months, it will not be available on the App Store anymore, and it will not be allowed on American devices. This sucks. This sucks really bad for me. I love TikTok. TikTok is the only reason I have this job here. TikTok is a source of income for me and a lot of people. This sucks so bad. And how are we going to get videos of grandma falling into the water? How are we going to get that?
Don't worry, Lucy. We still have Instagram Reels,
That's
which
right.
to me is really what the government should be focused on. Because Dan, I couldn't sleep last night, and I was scrolling on like Twitter and TikTok and checking my texts, and I was just bored. I did the crossword. I ran out of apps to play with while I couldn't sleep. So I went on Instagram Reels, and I saw some of the most terrifying shit I've ever seen in my life, including this video, which I saw at 3 a.m., and I watched it again this morning, and I'm still in shock that this is a thing on the internet.
I want to speak to those of you who are lactose intolerant. I have had so many of you asking me, Kathy, would you please do a prayer for lactose intolerance? So in the name of Jesus, I come against lactose intolerance right now in Jesus' name. I speak and decree that your digestive system receives and processes.
And then I saw a video of this woman who only drinks raw milk and eats raw meat. And then I saw another video that was like Billy's Bible Bonkers, but it was like an actual like Bible verse game show thing. And all of this was like the first 3 things I saw on Instagram Reels. Like the algorithm is not nearly as good as TikTok. I don't know why I was seeing all of this. And it was so scary.
It's probably from all that raw meat you've been eating.
You're bugging. My Instagram algorithm is on point. I get nothing but bangers. Shout out to everyone who gets the DM digest from Amin, this little blast of different Instagram Reels. My TikTok algorithm is cool too. But here's the issue with TikTok.
You just call yourself cool?
No, my algorithm.
But I'm just saying, but your algorithm is like things you like. Like you're basically, when you say my algorithm, you're saying I'm cool.
No, not really.
You're doing the same thing Floyd Mayweather's doing, except not with $7 million in the Gucci store.
Doing the 7 million views of these reels that I'm sharing. Am I right?
Who are you talking to?
Speaking of the Grammy overboard, Sullivan has said he has located her and texted her, stand by for further boat department reporting. We'll see if she writes back. And then he said, you can say that on air if you want to.
Now, for fear of losing the room for a second time, do we want to get deep on the TikTok thing or not? Or do we want to just have fun with, like, oh my God, look at that crazy lady?
Deep
that
water.
lady was on Instagram Reels.
Okay.
Deep water.
The government needs to intervene with them.
A mean Thursday.
All right. So one of the things that the government has an issue with TikTok is, wow, that was very loud.
Poorly done.
Was there a bug on your microphone or something?
Did you flick the microphone?
He slapped the shit out of it. So among other things, that TikTok suppresses certain topics and then like inflames different ones in order to create a sort of kind of like a little bit of a chaos. The big problem with TikTok is the accusation is that this company that is a Chinese company is not an autonomous regular company. It is, in fact, a tool of the Chinese government. And so one of the things they point to as proof of this is if you see the things that were trending on TikTok They're all the things that are very divisive issues in America. But if you try to search for things like what's happening to the Uyghurs in China, Hong Kong protests, Tiananmen Square, amazingly, it is very hard to find content like that on TikTok. Is it because people aren't creating that content? No, because we know on Instagram that stuff proliferates. It's because they're doing it on purpose. They're like, oh no, this stuff is uncomfortable for us, so we won't allow it there. And to the point of like, how can we ban TikTok? You can't use Twitter in China. They don't have like stuff, social media stuff that we have that we've developed over there are banned. They have their own versions of that, but we don't do the same thing vice versa.
Right. I think the thing that people find disingenuous about this, though, is that it's our government pretending that they have a vested interest in our data and our privacy, when in reality, all of those things have been for sale by American companies for years. And so people find it fairly cheap that they're trying to go after TikTok and claim that it's because of all these reasons. And that is not the case.
It's not like, hey, our data and our privacy in general. It's specifically a country that has animus against the United States, and their ability to, A, use the data against us, and B, use it in terms of propaganda and infiltrating the conversations that are happening among the American public.
I think
this is a national defense thing. It's not a data thing.
It can be a national security thing, and it can also be it can be something that you're trying to do that it serves an overall good, but is also for the wrong reasons or dishonest reasons. I believe in general, Americans underestimate the damage that can be done by propaganda. If you come from a place without freedom, you realize what can be done with propaganda. And I think the ship has sailed on all of this stuff. Like, it's all too late on how you regulate any of it. The propaganda has already obviously divided our country. It will only get more divided if you control all of the media sources.
Well, someone tried to hack my Instacart account last night 20 times. So
wow.
Sorry about that.
Successful?
No.
Yeah, that's right, Chris.
You were bulletproof. You were able to.
Yeah, I woke up to 20 separate emails being like, your Instacart account has been, So I hope someone had a great time at CVS.
Chris, when you hack the Instacart account, do you return the card afterward?
Damn you.
taunting me because yesterday I exclaimed that you cannot make a bet in which your chief reasoning is Taj Gibson is playing in 2024. The Detroit Pistons have now won, is it 3 or 4? They're 3-1 in their last 4 games because they have signed Taj Gibson. Now, I thought that the rest of Taj Gibson's career was going to be to just end up wherever Tom Thibodeau ends up. And once that expired, and it did recently on a 10-day contract with the Knicks, I thought that was over. But now Taj Gibson is back and the Detroit Pistons are winning. And why are you holding that up in my face, Charlotte?
Because you told me that it was a terrible idea in 2024 yesterday to base a bet on Taj Gibson. But a quarter of the Pistons' wins this season have come with Taj Gibson on the team for his 10-day contract. We demand justice for Taj. Also, I demand that the Detroit Pistons do its best for them, sign him for the rest of the year.
Also, Charlotte,
yes,
Dan Le Batard disrespected you on national television, international television yesterday, so he needs to apologize on international television, not on a private dinner, but in front of everybody.
Okay, well, I will and would apologize if Taj Gibson was the reason that the Detroit Pistons won.
Okay, Dan.
No, wait a
Dan.
minute.
He needs to be explained.
Nope.
You see, they weren't winning. Then they signed him, and then they've won 75%.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Charlotte, Taj didn't touch the floor last night. And you know what I say, Dan? Locker room guy.
Vet leadership.
What I'm saying is that when you're making a bet on behalf of our biggest sponsor, where you're telling people DraftKings and we endorse this bet, even if that bet wins, your reasoning for having made that bet is super flimsy and I believe should be career-threatening if the reason for it is I believe a team will win in 2024 because of something Taj Gibson has done. I don't think I should apologize. I feel like my reasoning is stronger than yours even though you won the bet.
He's almost a player's coach at this point.
Also, it sounds like something a loser would say.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I just
won.
feel like you don't want to apologize because you know you're wrong, Dan.
You and Michael Jordan.
Can I lose the bet and still be right? That you can't make a bet in okay, all right, and then okay. Well, we seem to be stuck here because it doesn't seem like I'm giving you guys the apology you want because
We just want justice for Taj.
Numbers never lie. Shout out to Jamel.
But they
Michael
do
Smith.
in this case because if
Well,
They're not lying. You know, I mean, look, if you followed what Charlotte and what producer Thomas have been saying since Taj Gibson signed with the Pistons, you would have made a lot of money.
yeah. Producer Thomas knows what he's talking about. He's been on this train. Taj Gibson retweeted him when it had a hashtag. He retweeted Oddball because it said hashtag a rising tide, hashtag ride with Thomas for Taj Gibson. I hope Taj sees this and sees how much we appreciate what he is doing with his leadership and sense of cohesiveness for this team.
You know what, Sullivan? Get us Taj Gibson.
Get us Taj Gibson.
Let's make Dan apologize to Taj Gibson on air. How about that?
So you're going to ruin the show as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, ruined it by
Oh,
being
now I
right?
really need an apology.
Yeah, oh, boy. How dare you?
Put it on the poll, Juju at Le Batard Show. Does the audience want to hear from Taj Gibson? Yes or no?
I think they're going to come back overwhelmingly yes.
Same.
Because it's going to make you look bad, Dan. And that's what this show's all built around. You looking bad.
I don't want to grab the steering wheel here, but there's a breaking news story here that is very interesting to me.
About Taj Gibson?
The Penguins were going to have Jaromir Jagr bobblehead night tonight, but they just announced.
Say that again.
Yeah,
Jaromir Jagr? Did I put an extra syllable?
Well, how do you spell it? Go ahead and spell it. How do you spell
You
it?
spell it.
That guy, good move.
I'm not going to take a quiz. I think it's
Jamir.
No, it's I think it's Jaromir.
There's an R in there.
Whatever, guys.
I mean,
You know
whatever.
what I'm talking about. What
It's
are we
one
doing
of the
here?
most famous
Jaromir.
hockey players ever. No,
This is fun what I'm bringing up right here. Unless you guys just want to do this. Go ahead.
No, let's do this.
The Penguins announced today that the shipment carrying the Jagr bobbleheads for tonight's game has been stolen en route to the arena. So they will not have bobbleheads tonight.
the
It'll be at a
shipment is
later
like
date.
what? Is it a truck? Is
Bobblehead
it a big,
heist, Dan.
There's been a
Bobblehead
Like a
heist.
box truck.
There's been a bobblehead heist. I think those are going to be hard to sell at the pawn shop.
So I'm going to look up. I'm going to see what happened here, but we have a developing story.
Okay, so you're imagining a single truck and a heist, an armored. There was a guy, a Brinks truck driver, the other day got his pants
Dan
in the
Ocean
street,
is back.
just taken off.
I'm sorry?
He got robbed. An armored truck driver
Yes.
not only got
And then
robbed,
they mooned him.
but while he was in the street, he got his pants pulled off because somebody was videotaping. It's not enough that you got your truck stolen, but the person stealing the truck also made you take your pants off in front of everybody.
They weren't snap-offs?
They were not basketball warm-up pants, no.
Just
That
checking.
the armored driver.
For the visual.
We were shocked to be a victim of cargo theft, and we are working closely with local and federal authorities on the investigation.
Oh, the feds are in there.
Oh my God.
I'm picturing Fast Five.
So are these pirates? Like, was this on a ship?
On the high seas. Arr, matey, avast.
You think it's a cargo ship that was stolen? The bobbleheads were stolen from a
'Cause
ship,
it's
not a truck?
shipment.
See, yeah.
I thought it was on a
Track
ship.
the logic.
Dan, you mentioned Taj Gibson was a did not play coach's decision last night, and it reminded me of a story I don't think we've talked about yet. The Kobe Bryant statue that was unveiled that is now going to have to be retooled because they misspelled a number of things on the trophy, including names and the word decision, which also
It's a toughie.
begs the question, like, did they have to put did not play coach's decision for those players? Could they not have just like left their stat line blank? Because it's a little embarrassing to be immortalized.
And they
that way.
nailed the spelling right above it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of the actual template of the actual NBA
Right.
box score that
Understandable.
you get when you're at the game that the league hands out. So that's why it does not explain how you could mess up the spelling one line below.
It might be the one in Spanish. Is that how you spell it? Was there an accent there in decisión?
Well, I would allow for that, except for the fact they called Jose Calderon Jose Calderson.
We talked about this on Oddball and came to the conclusion that the way they should fix this is they should have a little plaque. You know how you have whiteout and you have to white out what you did wrong so that people know there was a mistake? They should have a little copper plaque that they have to drill into the stone so it corrects the spelling, but it's like, you know, someone messed up here.
Either that or they chisel in like a red squiggly line underneath them just to indicate these.
Kobe
were
has
typos.
3 statues. There are going to be 3 statues that will be outside of the arena. Allen Iverson is now having one built in Philadelphia. Does anyone other than Rocky have one built in Philadelphia? Does Dr. J have a statue in Philadelphia?
I think
Moses
at
Malone? Anybody?
The practice facility, they have a lot of statues of...
And Benjamin Franklin, too.
Oh, right. And there's a big bell.
And William Tell. William Tell has a statue too. It's on the top of a building though.
You wouldn't dare take the blasphemous opinion that 3 statues is too much. No one's going to object. No one can publicly say that 3 statues is too much. You just have to walk away and say the Lakers can honor him however they wish to honor him, correct?
William Tell?
William Penn. William Penn. William
there you
Tell's
go.
overture is what I was thinking about.
With the apple.
Yes, but William Penn is the one with the statue because remember they had that curse. If you had a building taller than the William Penn, they wouldn't win anything, and then they won. So nobody cares about.
Thank you. I'm glad you didn't answer my question, but gave us a history of William Penn and William Tell.
There you go.
Can you answer my question as our basketball expert?
No. I mean, I could answer the question when the mics and the cameras are off.
Okay.
That's where you draw the line.
It's too
on
hot to take.
takeage?
It's too hot to take. You don't want to get aggregated on that one. For what? For what?
It's someone who died tragically in a helicopter accident, Jessica. Even I've got.
Samson would do it. Samson is
Oh, yeah,
okay.
absolutely
David
would.
Samson would do
But then
it.
he'd wonder why he wasn't invited to things. That's the difference. I know.
I didn't know that your opinions were sale for invitations to parties.
Of course they are. What? You didn't know this?
I didn't know this.
What do you think I'm going to All-Star Weekend every year for?
He's playing in
For
a
the
celebrity
content?
basketball game. Amina's
Yeah.
playing in a celebrity basketball game. He's been angling for this.
Yeah, man. This is a big moment, but also a terrifying moment.
Yeah, it's
because
gonna. How's your back?
He came in here limping.
Back's not great. Back's not great, but
Why? Because you're carrying the team on it?
this team right here, you mean?
The All-Star team.
Oh, no.
The risk reward, though, of this, like, what's best case scenario? You score 8 points?
No. Best case scenario is I get out of there alive.
Okay.
That's the best case scenario.
Like Tomlin over
So
here.
you're not worried about how you actually play?
No, I'm worried. I'm legit 100% worried about
embarrassing yourself.
No, I don't even care about
Getting
that.
hurt.
I don't want to get hurt. That's the big thing for me. I don't want to get hurt. But it is for a good cause. I believe Athletes Unlimited, which is a pro league in different sports for female athletes, specifically, obviously I know a lot of the basketball ones. This is so they don't have to go overseas to weird places to go make money, and they all have kind of an ownership stake in the league itself. So it's a very cool kind of concept. But yeah, I don't want to get hurt, Chris.
What is your level of celebrity in this game? Like how big is the biggest celebrity? How small is the smallest celebrity? And where do you rank?
The biggest celebrities are definitely going to be the former athletes. So I think Cheryl Swoops is one of the coaches. I got to look through the list, but there are a lot of big name athletes who are part of this.
Would we be impressed by you making the celebrity cut? You're not going to get a Taj Gibson did not play coach's decision. You are a legitimate celebrity draw.
I legitimately asked for a Taj Gibson DNPC. I just want to go warm up, get shots up, and then like sit on the bench. And they said, no, you got to play.
You asked to be benched?
Dude, you don't understand the amount of terror running through me about the idea. I haven't played a full court basketball game since the NBA Finals 2016.
And it's just injury related? It's not just I'm going to actually embarrass myself as well, that people are going to see that the basketball expert can't play because he's old and his body hurts?
No, I mean, like, I think if I play and don't get hurt, people are going to see I can play. But it's not going to look amazing. I'm not going to be out there windmilling on people, but I know how to play basketball, man. Like, I know where to stand. I know when to screen.
Chris Cody, why are you and Jessica looking at a TV screen? Do you have footage of playing basketball?
I have a list of the other celebrities in this thing.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I was trying to look that up.
Is it going to be a celebrity basketball game with celebrity in quotes?
I'm trying to find someone else I've heard of here. Ben Lyons is playing.
Okay, hold on. You Jimmy King? You don't know who Jimmy King is from the Fab Five?
Okay, Jimmy King.
The least known member of the Fab Five.
Cheryl Ford. 3-time WNBA All-Star. Rolando Blackman. Okay. Oh, wait, why is that? He's one of the greatest players in Dallas Mavericks history.
To be fair, I didn't know who half the celebrities at the NBA All-Star game were.
Those are different because those are all like TikTok people.
Sure
you guys should know who they are.
Like blonde kid.
I don't know.
And country singers.
That too.
Also, Derek Holland, MLB pitcher.
There you go. Why you get?
Because they don't know who Ronaldo Blackman is. That's why.
Rolando, not Ronaldo.
Rolando.
The Mavericks.
You don't know who.
I got stuck on Blackman. I got to be honest.